In this tutorial for Team Yankee, I'm going to discuss defensive fire during an assault. So recapping our assault step, first we charge into contact, which I already discussed in the video. This one we're going to discuss about opponent's defensive fire. So let's go ahead and just set up these Soviets here that are going to be assaulted. So here they are, and we got the heavy weapons team back here, and these Americans have come in to assault, and so they are like that. Let's say that's what happened. Now, they will get to shoot at them before the assault actually happens. They're shooting them as they come in. The rule is any team from the Soviet side that's within 8 inches of a team that's part of the assault will get to do defensive fire. So we measured out from them. So anybody there, anybody out there and around. Now let's pretend that, for some reason this is an American back here that cannot assault with heavy weapons. We do not count 8 inches out from them because they are not part of the assault. Only those that have made contact, that's including these guys, do we measure 8 inches out from. So they're going to get to do their defensive fire. And we look at what we've got here. They shoot at their halted rate of fire. So I'm pretty sure they're going to use their AK-47s. So they get 3 dice. The smaller stands like these two are going to get 1 die each. So we have 3, 6, 7, 8 dice coming in at them. If there's a machine guns, they could do 7 dice. And if the Gremlin team, they can't, because it's guided AA. They can't shoot at these men. So putting these back over here, even though they're within 8 inches, they cannot fire because they're guided AA. Now, what if there's a Shilka back here? That can present some defensive fire. Infantry do not block line of sight for defensive fire. Tank teams can still block line of sight to other tank teams. So these infantry here are not going to block the line of sight for the Shilka to shoot at these guys. But is the Shilka within 8 inches? Yes. So it can shoot anybody within 8 inches. So it can only shoot these front 3 guys. Okay. So it's going to add its dice into defensive fire. So you can have these guys shoot first and these guys. And you can do it unit by unit just like you would normally do shooting. Now I'm going to throw the hind out here. It's within 8 inches, so it's going to get to do whatever it does. No. Aircraft, again, are never involved in assault, so whether it's within 8 or not, it's not going to get to shoot defensive fire. So we've got, let's put a BMP-2 out here. So it just happens to be here. It's getting ready to shoot. It's going to use, you know what, it wants to use a Spandrel missile. For some reason, it wants to use that. It can't. See the range? Now, you have to shoot within 8 inches, and this has a minimum of 8. So that's a weapon it will not be able to fire in defensive fire. But it could shoot this one, which has 3 dice. That's nice. So keep range of weapons in mind, as some do have a minimum range. And you may not be able to use it if you're being assaulted. All right, adding some more wildness to it. Carnations are here. They're within 8 inches. They're going to go, you know what? Let's just throw artillery down on them and get rid of as many as we can. No. Artillery weapons cannot be used. Any bombardments, salvo artillery cannot be used in defensive fire. But they can still do their straight shots. They do have that. Now I'm going to put this back in here, this terrain, and this actually gives you bulletproof cover. So they're moving up, they're going to assault, defensive fire happens, there is no bulletproof cover in defensive fire. So to keep that in mind, even though it's between them. However, you still can get concealment. So if you're behind the wall and they're shooting, course, won't get it from these guys, but if you're far enough back, and I've talked about that in another video about concealment, they'll get concealment from them, but not from them, because they're within the 2 inches. So you still can get concealment, but you will not get the bulletproof cover. Now there is a way to knock down how much shooting is going to be coming at these attackers. And this is something you really, really do want to do if you're planning to assault infantry, is you want to get enough shots in there that you pin them down. And I've talked about pin down in another video, but what that causes is, instead of their halted rate of fire, they have to shoot at their moving rate of fire. So in this case, it didn't make much difference, but it does for machine guns. So it knocked down the number of dice coming at you. And remember, armored vehicles cannot be pinned. Or even, tanks. Tanks cannot be pinned. Infantry can. So if you pin them down, they shoot at their moving rate of fire, which some weapons, of course this one can't, but some weapons could be a dash now, and they wouldn't get any defensive fire. Here's another way to reduce how much defensive fire is going to be coming down on you. So I'm going to get rid of these infantry, and you know what? This will actually work this way. So we'll have these guys out here. So we got some artillery here. This could be fully armored tanks, unarmored tank, whatever. It's a tank, and it could be woods. It could be a hill. So I'm going to put these woods here. So here we go with some woods, and these infantry are here. So there we go. Now, they did not move during this turn, even with movement orders. If you move or use a movement order, you can't do this. If you shoot, you can't do this. So no moving, no shooting during this turn. And what you could do is you can then assault these, move their 4 inches. This one's going to go there. Too far back. Oh, but he could make it in back of the base of that one. And the same with that one. Now, they do not get defensive fire because they snuck up on them. Remember, cannot move. Even you cannot move, cannot use a movement order, and you cannot have shot this turn. If you do that and you can be within 4 inches of them and assault them from concealing terrain, you could be behind a hill too and sneak up over the hill. Whoever you're in base contact with, those tanks will not get defensive fire. This one is not in contact with one of them, so it will still get defensive fire. If that one didn't make it to that one, this one can do defensive fire. But because this guy snuck up on it, it does not get defensive fire. The crew did not see them coming, the tank crews. And that is basically who can do defensive fire.